One magical way of how you can lower your cost of production is investing in numbers. Every time you invest in numbers, your cost of production lowers. What do I mean by investing in numbers? Every time you have fewer goats, especially goats that are not productive, your cost of production is going to be higher. How does it become higher? For example, a person keeping 50 goats will pay the same amount of money to a person to herd their goats. Boji keeping 200 goats, I'll also pay the same amount of money to the same person if at all I've brought him to herd my goats. Do you get my point? Okay, maybe, let's make it simpler. If you went to a shop to buy drugs for your goats, you have 50 goats, I have 200 goats. Me, as a farmer, I will get more bottles at a cheaper way, at a cheaper price. But for you, you'll get one bottle because you have fewer goats to treat your goats. And also remember, on our markets, when you are buying drugs, they never sell half a bottle because you have fewer goats. You always buy a full bottle, maybe 100 mils, the same way I will do as a farmer with 200 goats. Are you getting the logic of this, or you are lost? Remember, all the goats must be vaccinated. And every time you vaccinate, these vaccines are in vials of 100 mils. 100 mils means you are vaccinating 100 goats. So for a farmer who has 20 goats, your cost of production will definitely be higher because at the end of the day, you are going to vaccinate 20 mils of this, 100 mils of this vaccine, and the rest you will dispose of because with vaccines, it is one use and the rest is already spoiled because you cannot keep it for the next use. Still on the same point, if you are to purchase drugs, when you go to look for these drugs, always have a clear list of what you want to buy. Some of you always buy one bottle, the next week you buy another bottle. This ends up becoming expensive. How does it become expensive? You use a lot of time. Time is money, people. You transport yourself to buy that one particular drug. Imagine every time you have, you must treat your goats, you send a boda guy to go and buy a certain drug. The following day, maybe you forgot another drug you buy. So my advice to you as farmers, if you want to make this commercial and easy for you and to lower your cost of production, always buy the drugs in bulk. Some of you may not be aware of what kind of drugs to buy, but consult a veterinary official every time you want to stock drugs on your farm. Still on the same point of drugs on the farm, most of you have turned your farms into pharmacies where every person tells you buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this. You end up with so many antibiotics on your farms doing exactly the same thing. It is only the names that are changing or the different brand names that are changing, but the drugs at the end of the day, they are doing the same thing. So every time you turn your farm into a pharmacy, definitely your cost of production is going to be way high up. Imagine every month you spend 1 million and you have 200 goats, you're spending 1 million on drugs alone. That is really high on those drugs. So basically, what am I trying to do? Be a tactical buyer of drugs. When you are buying these drugs, avoid consulting these people who are selling to you the drugs. These are marketeers on their own. They are not qualified enough to advise you on what drugs to buy. They will tell you, buy this, because at the end of the day, for them it is all about money they are making. Consult a vet, or if you don't have a vet, consult an experienced farmer, and then you know how to go about this exercise altogether. We are still talking about how to lower your cost of production. Remember, every time your cost of production is high, your profit margins are going low. Your profit is being chewed. Proper management practices. Which practices are these that I'm talking about? Vaccination, deworm, spray your goats. How does this help you lower your cost of production? When you follow these things to the dot, and you do them the right way, your mortality at the farm lowers. Remember, we don't want our goats to die. And every time our goats are not dying, the goats grow in numbers. And every time they grow in numbers, time for sale, you know what I'm talking about, the car profit is always juicy. One other point that you should consider when you want to lower your cost of production is investing in good quality goats always. Ask us, consult, what is a good quality goat? How does it look like? When you are buying goats, avoid goats that have defects, goats that are limping, goats that have poor breeds, for example, like the small East Africans. These are not taking you anywhere. They are going to take forever to give you the exact desired results you want from your farm. That every time you keep good quality goats, for example, if I decided to keep 100 nice looking exotic goats, and some other farmer maybe in another district decides to keep 300 local goats, but is not following the proper management practices, and we all bring our goats to market them, I will earn more from the few goats than the other person who has more goats, because remember, these local goats take longer to mature and give you the desired results or the end goal as to why you are keeping those goats. Whereas if you compared the same number of goats versus the exotic goats, a person who has invested in exotic goats may get something out of it in a short period as compared to somebody farming local goats. With our local goats, when you invest in them, I'm not trying to discourage you, but usually when you invest in them, the amount of time and the expenditure you put in the local goats, it may take you forever. Whereas with the exotic goats, you may invest in them, but you know, in a shorter period of time, maybe in less than 6 months or 6 to 8 months, you may be able to realize that dream you have always looked out for. And with the local goats, to realize the same dream with the exotic goats, it may take you 2 years and above. Who would want to do this? So when you are investing or when you are starting goat farming, these are things to ponder on as a goat farmer. With a local goat, to reach maturity or to reach a sizable size that you can comfortably put on the market to sell, it will reach at 8 months. Whereas with an exotic goat, if well looked after, it will reach a sellable size between the months of 5 to 6 months. Weigh in and see, farmers watching me, which options would you go for? I'm not trying to underplay the relevance of local goats. I, for one, I started with the local goats, and I have both herds, but all are good. But at the end of the day, what is your end goal? What are you looking out for as a farmer farming goats?